Okay, now we're on to the next video. The next video is write an equation in slope-intercept form from a point and a slope. So, we have a point and a slope. And so you could just graph it, but there's actually another way. Now we know this is slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. And so you say, well, how do I use this to find that? Well, here's the trick. I know m is 4, so I can definitely substitute that in. So I know my m is 4. I don't know what my y-intercept is, so that's b. But guess what? What I do have, believe it or not, is my x and y, because this is the ordered pair x, and this is y. And so I can actually substitute those values into the equation. Y is negative 2. So I can make that a screen, negative 2. And my x is negative 1. Yes? And so what I've just done here is basically I've substituted all the values that I have. The only thing I'm missing is b. B, my beginner, my y-intercept. And so all I have to do is solve for b. So, okay, 4 times negative 1 is negative 4 equals negative 2. And then I say, okay, I got to get b alone because I'm going to try to solve for b. The constant is negative 4. How do I get rid of that negative 4? I add 4 if I do it to one side. I do it to the other. This is 0, and I get b equals 2. So, now I have my y-intercept, and I already had my slope. So now I can write the equation y equals m, which we now know is negative 4, x, and then I put my b in there, plus 2. People say, well, why didn't you put the x and y in again? Because again, this equation, when I write it like this, I can change the value of x and find the dependent variable y as I change the value of x. Here, this is for one given point. So I give it for that point just to find the b, but now I want to put it back like this so I can graph it and find all the points in it. So again, all we did is just like we did here. We substituted the values in, and then all you got to do now is go back and put it in slope-intercept form, where we put the slope in, which was negative 4. And we found the y-intercept in this case was 2, but it was positive, so that was our equation. Okay, you go ahead and try this one. You're going to try to find b, and then you have to write the equation. Okay, I'm assuming you did it. Again, what I would do is here's the equation I'm looking for. Let's go ahead and substitute the values that I have. Well, I know this is my x, and I know this is my y. Oops, I put those in the wrong order. X is blue, so I'll go x. And my y, and my m is already given, right? That's my m. So I need to find b if I want to write it as in slope-intercept form. So I just substitute the stuff I have in and find the thing that I'm missing. So my y is 4. So again, I'll put that in, 4. And then my m is 2/3. So I'll put in my m as 2/3. And my x is 2. Now notice I put it in parentheses. The reason why I put it in parentheses is because these two are touching. And if they're touching, then I either have to have a multiplication sign or a parentheses, or else people might think it's something else. So this just indicate, I know m besides x is multiplication, therefore to put the parentheses in there so I can tell that's multiplication. And then again, I have plus b, and I don't know what b is. That's what I got to find out. So for this particular point, I can still find out what b is. So here we go. I go 2/3 times 2, well that's going to be 4/3, you can put that in your calculator. Equals 4 plus b. And now I got to get rid of that 4/3. Okay. And some people say, well, wouldn't you write that as 1 1/3? Well, you could, but I just don't need to until I get to my final answer. So I'm going to go, here is what I'm trying to solve for. Here is the constant because my coefficient is 1. I'm trying to get rid of that, so I'm going to go minus 4/3. And if I do it to one side, I've got to do it to the other side. And I get, this is 0. And now I get 4/3, 4 minus 4/3, well that's going to be 2 and 2/3. Or if you don't understand how I got that, well this is, we're talking about thirds here, so this would be 12/3, because 3 divided by 12 is 4, minus 4/3 is 8/3. And 8/3 simplifies down to 2 2/3, or I could leave it as 8/3. It's up to you. So now I know what b equals. B equals that, or 8/3. And now I'm going to go, okay, now I got to go back to my problem. Y equals mx plus b. So now I need to replace the things that I don't have. I need to know what the m is and the b is. Well, the m, we already said, is 2/3, so that'll be 2/3 x. And then b, in this case, would be 2 2/3, so I'll say plus 2 2/3. So, or I could have put 8/3, either way. So, that takes that one, so you try the next one. So I'm assuming you did it, so here we go. Again, I'm taking what not that, that's definitely not doing that. I take what I have and find what I don't have. I do have an m, I do have an x and a y. I can substitute those values in and then to find b. So again, I'll go into here and say, I know y is 3. I know m is 0. I know x is 7, but I'm going to put it in parentheses because I don't want to accidentally get confused there. I do not know what b is. So I have to solve for b. So the way I'm going to solve for b is I'm going to simplify. 0 times 7 is 0 plus b. And then 0 plus b, well, I don't need to get rid of 0. It doesn't mean anything, so I'm just going to get rid of it. So I'll get 3 equals b. So now I have my b, and I already had my m. So now I want to write in slope-intercept form. Okay, y equals mx plus b. I can substitute the values I need. M is 0, so I have y equals m, which is 0, x, plus my b was 3. And again, the reason why we put the x and y back is so we can find all the answers. Now, some people might say, wait a second, this looks weird. Yeah, this is weird because when we have a 0 slope, remember we learned earlier, is this a hoy or a vux? Well, vux is this is a hoy. A hoy stands for horizontal 0 slope, which is what we have. Then it's a y equals. And guess what? When you multiply 0 times x, it's just 0, so we get y equals 3. That's why we say y equals, because the x goes away. So this is in simplest form written, the equation written.